Well, hello and welcome to the GG League number 1. This is going to be a semi-final best of 3 between Goomba Gaming and Osliki Gaming. Well, it took a little bit of while to, a little bit of time, excuse me, to get into the game, but it looks like we're all ready and all of the players are ready to play. And I'm going to be Grandis C. I'm going to be your main caster for today on Heflatv 1. I'll be joined by Glenn. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. You?
Well, I don't know. Since it did take a little bit of time to get into the actual draft, we won't really have much to talk about so far. I'd expect it to go fairly quickly, at least in the first stage. But as of now, we don't have any bans coming out from either of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, as far as these teams are concerned, I believe one is ranked 39 and the other is 38. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it is a pretty even matchup. Osliki Gaming do have a worse win rate, but more games played in general. So it is going to be a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, definitely should be. Both of these teams have been around the scene and have progressed decently well through the GG League, as well as other leagues that I've been casting. Yeah, so it should be a fairly close and exciting game. Goomba Gaming going to first ban out the Batrider, and on the side of Osliki Gaming, they're going to ban out the Brewmaster as well as the Tinker.
Yeah, Goomba Gaming, I believe, have a lot of activity around Batrider, actually. If they can't get the Batrider, they'll definitely ban it. So, I mean, in their previous games, he is the most banned, he is the most played. So...
10 seconds to go.
In
Yeah.
addition to that, I believe Osliki Gaming are exactly the same about Brewmaster as well. Apart from Goomba Gaming have been playing a lot of Brewmaster, so I'm not sure if it's just to follow the current meta or not. But they might be banning out Brewmaster just to spite Goomba.
I'd expect Doom to be banned out here by Goomba Gaming, and indeed it will be, but still, a lot of heroes left in the pool. No big surprises out of the first 4 bans, however. Doom, Batrider, Tinker, as well as Brewmaster, all very annoying heroes to play against, but that pretty much leaves the rest of the pool entirely open.
Yeah, these are pretty much cookie cutter heroes at the moment. The picks and bans, you know, your best initiators, your best team fighters, etc. So this is pretty much all to go as expected, I guess.
Pretty much. Tidehunter and Invoker are still left in the pool. I'd look for Osliki Gaming to possibly pick up their offlaner here. But honestly, I'm not sure what they're going to first pick. Miranda's still left in the pool. Should either of those teams want to pick that one up. It is a very common pick, although a lot of teams are fairly comfortable playing against it as well. So I'm not sure if we'll see it prized so early, and we'll have to see if either of these teams are going to bring something a little bit new to the table.
Yeah, well, Goomba Gaming actually have their most wins in this league with Marana, so it wouldn't surprise me if they decided to take it straight away if they realised that. Their last draft as well did include Marana, so...
Yeah, well, Osliki Gaming are going to take their time with this first pick, and they're going to first pick up the Disruptor. Now, it's an interesting first pick. I don't think there's any situations where Disruptor is really an awful pick, but at the same time, it will give Goomba Gaming plenty of time to think about what they're going to pick up here. Against a Mirana or against a Wisp, Disruptor functions fairly well with the Glimpse to bring back the Mirana or to glimpse the Wisp partner. Also, the Static Storm, very good at dropping on top of a relocate, so I guess it does function fairly well against a lot of high-tier picks that Goomba Gaming might be considering, but still, I mean, Goomba Gaming, they can get pretty much whatever 2 heroes that they want to.
Yeah, it's definitely no surprise picking a support first either. If they pick the supports first and get the best teamfight supports, it means that they are open to surprise the opposite team with their carries. So they might run something a little unorthodox, but I mean, I doubt it, but they could have something in plan here.
Yeah, definitely Goomba Gaming. Lycan was left in the pool on the Dire side, so they'll be happy to snag that one up for themselves. That said, Disruptor works well against Lycanthrope, being able to bring him back. Lycanthrope really doesn't want to be building into that BKB early. He's going to want like a Vlad's or Necronomicon. But this game, he might be forced in getting an early BKB up against the Disruptor.
Yeah, I mean, they might be running Lycan mid. That's a lot of what we've been seeing in competitive play at higher levels at the moment. He could be playing it safe, going in the forest, but mid would definitely be a viable option at the moment, which means he would have a lot more opportunity for farm by pushing towers and getting creep wave EXP and stuff to make that BKB a little easier to reach.
Well, with this next pickup, I'm assuming that's a safe lane Lycanthrope, especially on the Dire side. Radiant, or Dire mid Lycan is definitely a little bit weaker than his Radiant counterpart. So it looks like we're going to have a mid Invoker picked up by Goomba Gaming, and they've gotten 2 fairly scary heroes out of their first 2 picks. We'll have to see how they're going to utilize them.
Radiant's ban.
And as you were saying earlier about those big team fighting supports, Osliki Gaming going to pick themselves up yet another one with this Earthshaker.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that Invoker pick. He is a very strong hero in general and as mid, but against the Disruptor, I'm not sure how he's going to fare in team fights.
Yeah, definitely having that AoE silence, instant cast onto the Invoker can really mess up his plans in these early team fights. Shadowshaman banned out by Osliki Gaming, no big surprises there, taking out a pushing support that would have synergized very well with Goomba Gaming. Also Shackle is good setup for the Sunstrike, so definitely a solid ban out there. And Goomba gonna take out the Darkseer, don't want to give any huge vacuum into Static Storm Kinetic Field Echo Slam combos to them. So, yet another solid ban.
Yeah, I just realized as well, the Earthshaker is a very good pick with Echo Slam, considering Invoker can summon his Forge Spirits and Lycan does have Wolves, so that does add extra units to the fight for that Echo Slam to bounce off of.
5 seconds.
Yeah, there is the opportunity for a huge 5-man Echo Slam that could completely turn the game. Well, here's for hoping that we see a gigantic ultimate coming out from the Earthshaker. But either way, mostly in the early game, he's going to be relying more on the Fissure rather than his ultimates or any of his other spells, more often than not. Just a defensive support that's going to be pulling, I don't know. They do have a little bit of aggressive potential coming out with the Disruptor, Earthshaker, but still, the killing potential really isn't all that there unless we see the third cog in that wheel.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, we also saw Goomba ban out Darkseer. Now, I'm not sure if they originally planned to do this just because he's a strong hero in general, but I know Osliki Gaming have been picking him a lot during this league, so they might have done their research.
Dyer's pick.
Yeah, and yet another offlaner banned out of the pool by Goomba Gaming. They're going to ban out the Tidehunter. They did have first pick in this next stage, and I think Tidehunter would have been a good pick for them as well. But either way, we'll have to see what they're going to snag up here.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of options for carries at the moment. No team's got a proper carry other than Lycan, but whether you want to judge if he's a carry or not is your own opinion. They haven't banned any carries other than Doombringer. So it looks like we're going to see some very aggressive last picks to make up for that.
Yeah, as far as offlaners left in the pool for Goomba Gaming, they could pick up the Nature's Prophet here and add to more of the summons push coming out from them. And that might be a solid option for them. However, I don't know. It would be fairly greedy. These three heroes would not be rotating very early on, and instead they're going to pick up the Wraith King here. Now, where do you think this Wraith King is going to be laned?
He could just be played as a carry, but to be honest, they don't have any supports picked yet. So I mean, there is the option out there for him to be a support still. He would be pretty good with his Aura Lifesteal, benefiting Lycan and Invoker, Forge Spirits, etc. Lycan especially. So I'm not quite sure. That's a bit of a surprise, actually. They might play it
10 seconds to go.
in the support role and then pick the carries last.
5 seconds.
Yeah, definitely an option. Also, Goomba Gaming, they might be able to either take a level 1 Roshan or beta fight in the level 1 Roshan pit. Invoker's not going to add much to that early on, but if they have another hero that's good inside the pit, they might be able to catch one of these supports or somebody scouting it out early on and maybe get the first blood there.
Yeah, this pick with Wraith King also makes way for a very quick Roshan possible as well. Like we might be seeing well, you know, as soon as Lycan gets Vlad's, or he might even get Vlad's if Wraith King joins the fight with his Aura and Invoker sends some Forge Spirits there to help out.
Pretty much. I think Osliki Gaming are going to need to be scouting out that pit or just have good map awareness, because if they leave them alone for just a couple of minutes, maybe even less, early on, they can take it very quickly.
Yeah, Goomba definitely have a very strong push lineup at the moment. Like you said before, they might get a Nature's Prophet to go in the off lane, which would also mean Lycan and Invoker can build some Necro books as well.
Yeah, definitely 3 Necro books could be something very difficult for Osliki Gaming to deal with. However, they do pick up the Ember Spirit here, and if he does pick up a Battle Fury, their high ground defense is going to be fairly strong. With the Earthshaker Disruptor combo, if this Earthshaker gets a decently timed Blink Dagger and whatnot. Also, Ember Spirit just decently good at clearing up those Necrominions. I believe the bug where he got damaged while he was in Sleight of Fist has been fixed, so he's also a good candidate to clean up those Necrominions should Goomba Gaming pick those up.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious to see what Osliki are doing at the moment. They're very favourable of the AoE team fights, and especially considering the Goomba's lineup with Lycan and Invoker, it does seem like if they have good team coordination, they're definitely going to take these late game fights for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see how Goomba Gaming are going to go about going for this push, and if Osliki Gaming are going to be able to execute, but it looks like we're going to have a fairly interesting game ahead of us.
Yeah, I mean, like Goomba Gaming do have an Invoker, and I'm not sure who's going to be playing with them, so I can't really judge their skill. But if the Invoker player can play well, then it definitely means they're going to have some good disengage to break up that team fight Osliki have with a Deafening Blast and a Meteor. So it's really tossed up in the air right now. I can't really decide who's going to win. Osliki definitely have the better team fight, but with a good Invoker play and Wraith King's ultimate, it seems like those team fights are becoming less viable.
Also, if Goomba Gaming get that early Roshan, get the early towers, they'll be able to have a significant gold advantage going into those team fights, so it might not be a clear-cut win for them, or for Osliki Gaming in the full 5-5 engagement. And Goomba Gaming going to get even more push with this Witch Doctor, adding the Voodoo Restoration, also, like, with a Maledict as well as Wraithfire Blast and a Sunstrike coming in, that's decent killing potential as well.
Yeah, not only that, Witch Doctor's ultimate is physical damage, so it will do a lot of damage to Ember Spirit as well, so it'll push them back a little bit, as opposed to Ember Spirit just absorbing everything with his Flame Guard.
5 seconds.
Yeah, Ember Spirit might have a fairly difficult time this game. There is a lot of physical damage coming out from Goomba Gaming. In fact, the majority of it is physical, outside of the Invoker, if he does end up getting into that Deafening Blast Meteor combo later on.
Yeah, well, that goes without saying. Invoker's Forge Spirits do nerf armor as well. I believe the armor isn't as much as it was a couple of months ago, but it still does nerf armor, so if he builds Exort, it's still going to be very viable.
Dyer's
Definitely, and Osliki Gaming gonna go ahead and pick up the Razor here. This might be an aggressive trial lane up against the Lycanthrope. We'll have to see how Goomba Gaming are going to respond to this. But honestly, I'm not sure if I completely understand this Razor pick, but at least later on, he'll be able to sap some damage from this Lycan, and yeah, we'll have to see how it's going to work out.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's solely based around the fact of Lycan's ultimate. If he ends up taking away his damage, he's not going to be critting anywhere near as much. In addition to that, it is another team fight ultimate for them to throw into the mix.
Yeah, that said, if Lycan does have his ultimate available when the static link is dropped, he will be moving at haste speed, and it's fairly easy to break the link from the Razor. But if they're able to lock him down with a kinetic field or fissure from the Earthshaker, they should be able to have a decent go about keeping him in place. And an interesting last ban coming out from Osliki Gaming. They're going to ban out the Faceless Void, and honestly, I think that pick could have worked out fairly well for Goomba Gaming, adding a lot to their team fight, just with that Chronosphere, with the Witch Doctor ultimate, as well as the Invoker spells to throw into it. They have a decent amount of synergy.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a good ban. I mean, if Goomba Gaming got Faceless Void, they still have a lot of space for a carry on their team, for a hard carry at least. And if he did get the Chronosphere out, it would definitely stop Osliki Gaming in their tracks as far as their team fight's concerned. But I do think the Razor pick, just thinking about it now, his ultimate focuses the least health as well. So with all the Disrupt ultimate and the Echo Slam and Ember Spirits
10 seconds.
Fist's ability, that ultimate is going to be taking its toll on a lot of people as well.
Yeah, and Goomba Gaming instead going to pick up the Viper here. I don't know, these lanes are fairly interesting coming out from Goomba Gaming. I'm not sure who's actually going to be taking up the offlane. I'd expect it to be an offlane Viper, but they could also go aggressive. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to lane this.
Yeah, to be honest, looking at it now, I think they just wanted a carry with magic damage because they have lots of physical on their team already. So they might have just thrown magic damage in there so Osliki Gaming couldn't just build an AC and counter their whole
10
team.
seconds to go.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think there are better magical damage carries. I think this Viper is more to, I don't know, keep the Razor in check and make sure that he's slowed down so that they can chase him down inside these team fights. Ember Spirit's still going to be a little bit sticky for them to deal with, but Osliki Gaming going to get even more team fight with this last pick Magnus.
Yeah, I mean, if they can execute well as a team, these fights are going to be very one-sided as far as team fights are concerned, especially now that they've got the reverse polarity as well.
Yeah, definitely. And if this Ember Spirit ever gets farmed with like a Battle Fury Daedalus, also he might not even need the Daedalus with the Empower coming out from the Magnus, just giving that extra amount of cleave, so he's going to come online very quickly. I don't know, I think, yeah, if Osliki Gaming are able to find those engagements, get an early Blink Dagger on Magnus, get an early Blink Dagger on Earthshaker, and find nice 5-on-5 engagements, they'll be looking very good for themselves. But if they ever slip up even just a little bit, Goomba Gaming have a lineup that's very good at taking those towers.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the Empower from Magnus is definitely going to be extremely strong with a Sleight of Fist. So I do think, as far as the drafting is concerned, Osliki do have a better team as far as team fights are concerned. The Goomba might spend a lot of time roaming to pick it up in the early game, but I don't see the fights going in favor of Goomba late game.
Well, to start things off, I'll go ahead and introduce the Radiant side. It is Osliki Gaming playing on the Radiant, with Judo heading up the Razor towards the off lane. In mid, we're going to have Chomi playing on the Magnus, and the safe lane tri-lane will be Obi-Wan Banana on the Disruptor, Ink Visitor on the Ember Spirit, and Bignum playing on the Earthshaker. As far as the Dire side, we are going to have a stand-in playing on the Viper, HWA on him. He will be heading towards the offlane, followed by Nier on the Wraith King, as well as Fire playing on the Witch Doctor. Towards mid lane, we're going to have the Lycanthrope, as you expected in the draft, played by Exist, and on the safe lane for them, they are going to put Chill on the Invoker.
Yeah, they might have actually anticipated the Razor going top, if he is going top, which it does look like, and hence put Invoker up against him instead of Lycan. That means that they're going to have a lot more control over the top lane.
Oh, Wraithfire Blast going the way of Bignum. They're looking for Body Box potentially. Here comes a Kinetic Field to disjoint things, as well as a Fissure. Don't think they'll be able to get the first blood here. In fact, Nier taking a little bit more harass than he bargained for, and Fire's on the wrong side of the Fissure, but everything will be just fine in the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, they definitely don't have enough damage, I think, as far as level 1's concerned, and Ember Spirit is saving that skill as well for his lane phase, as opposed to an early 1 level fight.
Yeah, well, at least with that early aggressive rotation, Goomba will be able to secure a little bit of control over the enemy jungle. They drop a ward on the Magic Bush spot, as well as one for Vision to check out when these supports are rotating. So they will settle down aggressively. It looks like they should know that this is warded. We'll have to see if they'll get a successful D-ward.
Yeah, as far as map control is concerned, Goomba Gaming have definitely taken it in their favor. They might be scared of these team fights and a lot of roaming coming from Osliki. So they have, like, I mean, as you can see, they put wards all over the bottom lane.
Careful what you claim.
Yeah, how damage is coming out from the Lycanthrope at level 1 to help this tri-lane a little bit. They're going to slow down Ink Visitor, but if they ever decide to go on a Bignum, will be there with a defensive Fissure. And well, if it's on mark, I don't think they'll be able to get any kills unless they get a lucky cast coming out from Fire.
Yeah, and as you can see, Lycan has only been pulled 2 tangos, so he's saving a lot of gold in the mid lane. I'm not sure if I agree with that too much. It does mean Shockwave is going to be doing a lot of damage, so I believe Magnus will be taking this lane in his favor, and he has got an early bottle too.
Blood, folks.
Well, they actually lose first blood on the Viper. Didn't expect that to happen, and now Fire might be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to throw one more auto attack and is eating a lot of damage from that Disruptor. I don't think he's going to die. One more tick won't be enough. It will. Another kill going the way of Disruptor. Obi-Wan Banana drops the Kinetic Field. He's going to throw the block there on Nier, as well as a Fissure to delay things, and 2 kills going the way of Osliki Gaming. I didn't anticipate that happening, but in the end, a very good start for them. I thought Goomba would be doing better in this lane.
Yeah, me too. They did have a good disengage though, so it did mean that despite the damage Viper was putting out, they did manage to get away, especially with that Fissure to save themselves just then.
Yeah, the OSG support's very good defensively, keeping heroes alive and making sure that they can't cross into enemy territory. Exist has bought himself a bottle, will be crowing that one, and making sure that he has that mana and health to sustain, which is what he was saving up for. No big surprises. Jill losing a decent amount of damage up in this top lane. Last hitting is going to be hard for him. Pretty much he's going to be relying on the Forge Spirit. Now with that dead, I don't know, this Invoker is not going to have a great time up in this top lane. In fact, is doing very poorly. 3-0 compared to the 11-6 of the Razor. Well, back to bottom lane. It looks like all of the supports are just headed around here. Earthshaker is back to base, but will TP back in case any action does go down. Wraith King is going to be spotted out by Disruptor. Kinetic Field is going to be on the mark as well as a Fissure, but I don't think they'll be able to capitalize on this. In the end, it is Ink Visitor who's taking the brunt of the harass, and will be able to back off and heal up.
Yeah, that Viper definitely pushed them back a lot just then. I mean, they went in for a kill, and then Viper just a few like auto attacks with his Q, and he was taking them down to half health.
Oh, another Wraithfire Blast going the way of Ink Visitor. Fissure's going to get Nier on the wrong side of the Fissure, and another Paralyzing Cast coming out onto Ink Visitor. He's really, oh, he should be able to get out of there alive, and Bignum going to take some harass as well. Ember Spirit going to be forced to pop through his salve, but in the end was just fine. He did have the chains if he was getting too close, but just knowing that Goomba really couldn't get that kill. So either way, well played by the Ember Spirit, and still 2-0 is the kill score.
Yeah, their aggressive playstyle at the level 1 fight did take Osliki 2 kills, but it's definitely not in their favor anymore. The Q coming out from Viper doing a lot of damage, as well as the stun from Wraith King and the stun from Witch Doctor, does mean that they're pushing back and they're shutting down the Ember Spirit from his farm.
Yeah, Ember Spirit only 2-1. He has been involved in both of those kills, in fact getting the last hit on one, but now his farm is going to start falling back fairly heavily. As far as the other two lanes for Osliki Gaming, they're doing very well. Chomi in the middle lane doing well up against his Lycan, although trading farm pretty much. Judo doing wonderfully up against his solo Invoker, and we'll have to see if Goomba are going to stay with this tri-lane. Yeah, Chill just can't do anything, gets his damage sapped, can't last hit very effectively, and is forced to rely on this Force Spirit and just try to soak as much experience as possible. We do have a rotation coming out from Bignum. Oh, not sure if that was spotted out by Ward, and Bignum might be able to get a kill here onto Exist. Where's the Fissure Block? It's going to be on the wrong side. Well, very short-range skewer coming out from Chomi. The Courier is just standing there, and with the Shockwave, they'll be able to get that kill. Courier eventually will be microed back to base, but yet another kill going the way of Osliki Gaming, and, well, they really needed this Lycan to do well.
Dire's mid towers.
Yeah, I mean, Lycan went to check for a rune at top at 4 minutes, whilst Earthshaker went to check bottom, and it did spawn bottom, and Lycan did get a really good deny with his wolves, but it didn't seem like that stopped Earthshaker from ganking mid at all.
Yeah, definitely well played by Osliki Gaming, and Goomba, excuse me, are going to be able to interrupt this pull a little bit and give their supports some extra experience, which is one of the advantages of having a tri-lane down here. You can actually very effectively contest these pulls.
Yeah, bottom lane is definitely going in favor of Goomba. However, middle and top lane are going in favor of Osliki. Their Razor and their Magnus are taking a lot of last hits over their opponents.
And Chomi looking for a very fast Blink Dagger, saving up his gold, adds now a lot of action down the bottom lane. They'll be able to clean up the Witch Doctor. Now another attack from the Viper. They're going to be able to clean up the Earthshaker near. He's trying to run towards the north. He will be able to make it out alive. One more stun thrown by the Wraith King. He'll be able to survive, and now Obi-Wan Banan looks like he's going to die as well. Razor slowing him down, just looking for that extra damage with the Nether Toxin will be enough. He only needs a little bit more. He will get the kill, but at the cost of his own life, dies to the tower in the end. Yeah. I don't know, a lot of aggression down the bottom lane. I'd say the Goomba are going to be fairly happy with that exchange, getting the wipe on the tri-lane and only using the Viper for it.
Yeah, they did shut down Ember Spirit as well. I mean, I thought the fight was going to go in favor of Osliki with the aggressive playstyle of Goomba. I thought they were going to capsize it and turn it around on them with that fight with the Flame Guard doing a lot of damage. But as soon as that ran out and Ember Spirit got focused down, the fight definitely did go in favor of Goomba then.
Yeah, definitely. At least they did get the kill on the Viper off of a nice fissure coming out from the Earthshaker. Magnus has himself a double damage rune up in top lane. Looks like Razor is going to be diving onto Chill. There's TP's back coming out from the Wraith King Sunstrike. Not going to be on the mark on Judo, and it looks like Judo will just be able to back off. In fact, Razor has maxed out the static link.
Yeah, I think he decided to go in for an ult. Now he has a max static link in his ultimate. I thought he was going to go aggressive then to dive that, because he does know he is ahead
of
them.
Near. Going to bump into Judo. He gets a stun off. He's slowed down for a little bit looking for the body blocks. Judo instead will run towards the north. And it looks like Judo is going to be able to make it out alive. He has phase boots. Fairly easy for him to escape there.
Yeah, and not to mention his passive, but Lycan is coming up in the middle lane, so it does look like they want this kills.
Yeah, very interesting path taken by Judo. He doesn't have a TP scroll, so deep into enemy lines. He is going to be scattered out by these wolves. Nier has another stun. I don't think they really have enough to take down this Razor, however. They need more backup instead of just the, Wraith King and those Lycan wolves.
Yeah, he's missing Plasma Field to get some early levels in Unstable Current, and that definitely did just pay off just then, especially with his phase boots. It means they couldn't even get near to him.
Yeah, for now, still a fairly passive game outside of the action we've had down in bottom lane. Not a lot of rotations, really only the rotation from Earthshaker, and now they're going to get Fissure onto Fire. They don't have the backup coming up for Ink Visitor. Fire trying to heal through it, gets a nice cast onto 2. Looks like he'll be able to back off, but Ink Visitor, the one in trouble. Sunstrike going to be on the mark. One more auto attack from Viper is all they need. Now TP back. Coming from the Lycanthrope, they're slowing down Obi-Wan Banan. Looks like they'll be able to chase him down. Exist with the ultimate. Will be able to cleave him down. All he needs is one more auto attack, and he'll be able to get it. Fissure not going to do much there, and 2 kills going the way of Goomba in bottom.
Yeah, I think that TP in from Lycan definitely caused a little bit of a stir up then. They were putting that aggressive playstyle to use, and they were picking up some good kills, but I don't think they would have got anywhere near the amount of kills they got with Lycan going down as well, and helping out his team.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. This Magnus decided to go for the Midas instead of the Blink Dagger. I really don't like this choice by Chomi. Getting the early levels up into Empower is nice, I suppose, for this Ember Spirit. I guess that's why he's doing it. And he also had a good start in lane, but I just think the Blink Dagger offers you a lot more utility.
Yeah, he might also be rushing for level 11 to get that team fight kickstarted now that the team's in a bit of a sticky situation with Goomba making a bit of a comeback from the early game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think getting the Blink Dagger and rotating around would have been a better choice by Chomi, but we'll have to see how this is going to pan out for him.
Yeah, he must trust his team quite a bit. He's relying on them to actually win their lanes and not get too, well, murdered, I guess. That way he can save farm without having to feel the pressure of attending other lanes.
Well, and Judo is going to be picking up the slack a little bit. Has a completed mechanism, I believe. No, just the two components, headdress and buckler, are waiting to be delivered on the courier. And so
Yeah,
Yep.
it does look like Wraith King's trying to get some early kills and playing aggressively bottom. He's extending way over the creep wave right now, and he's chasing Ember Spirit to put down that stun.
Yeah, very low probability kill, however. Ink Visitor, not sure where his remnant was. I believe he did have one over here, but still, doesn't have one down as of now, so needs to be playing a little bit defensively.
Yeah, Razor just dove Invoker top lane as well, but Invoker did get away with a TP scroll. He didn't have any CC to interrupt it, and he did pop his ultimate. He absorbed a lot of damage, so it does look like he's going to probably take this tower as well.
At least put it in deny range. And I think, yeah, Judo with 168 damage, he should be able to take this down. And bottom looks like we're going to have a little bit of engagement, possibly. I don't know, they will drop the glyph for this, and looks like they'll just secure themselves the tower deny. Lycan? No, looks like they're going to leave it there for now.
Yeah, Lycan's decided to take over top lane, whilst it looks like Invoker might be going Forest. He has no items yet, so Invoker, it does look like he might be rushing a Midas.
I'd expect that to be the case. I think he needs to catch up a little bit, and I don't know, Midas on Invoker is hardly ever a bad idea. He just scales with levels so well.
Yeah, it's good to get those early levels in Crossworks XOR. It does replace the stats, and it does look like Lycan did deny the top tower after Razor took it down to a low health as well.
Yeah, just making sure that there wasn't a kill opportunity with TPs in mid lane. We have Chill. He's going to run into the Magnus eventually. There's no other backup, but here comes the TP in from the Earthshaker. But in the meantime, well, looks like the action is just going to be on Chill in this mid lane. Let's see if they're going to be able to set up a kill here. Bignum, he's waiting back, drops the fissure. We're looking for a skewer coming out from Magnus. It will drop him down now. The RP dropped on Chill with that double damage, and they'll be able to get a kill. Let's see if Chomi's going to be able to get back. They do have a cast. It's going to bounce the creeps in. A nice lucky bounce back to Chomi, but that's going to be about it. Nice body blocks coming out from near. Will they have the right click damage? It doesn't look like they will. Wraithfire Blast has been thrown out, and one more auto attack from Fire, but it looks like Fire might extend a little too far. They don't have another stun. The Earthshaker to throw out. He is out of mana, so in the end, that will be all she wrote.
Yeah, and bottom lane, Ember Spirit got very aggressive against the Viper, and Viper is turning it back onto him now, and it does look like he might get a kill. Lycan Walls are doing work on the Disruptor, but the Kinetic Field might have just saved them then.
Sunstrike lands on Ink Visitor, well shot by Goomba.
This does look like they might be able to take bottom tower now. They do have half their team
Obi-Wan
down there.
Banon. Nowhere to run. One more auto attack from the Wolves, got that kill. And it does look like Tier 1 tower going to be under some heavy pressure.
As far as that fight in mid was concerned, I do believe Magnus should have saved his ultimate for those TPs to come in. It's not like he couldn't see the enemy team TPing in, so if he'd saved it, he might have picked up another kill or two.
Rotation from Judo. He's stealing a lot of damage from this Viper. In fact, 140, half a rapier here. But in the end, they will just back off, and no way to capitalize on that. They did throw a fissure out from Bignum, but not any other follow-up to that.
Yeah, well, as soon as Razor walked in the lane, he didn't even have the XP to pop his ultimate or any other abilities other than just his Stag Link. He didn't even have mana for mech, so there wasn't much they could do.
Yeah, not really. Earthshaker has picked himself up a Soul Ring, so we'll solve a lot of his mana problems. Usually you see Arcane Boots, and generally I'd prefer that, to be honest. But either way, not the choice Bignum is going to be, and it will serve a similar purpose, and at least make sure that he has fissures to spam out liberally in these team fights.
Yeah, and Lycan did just pick up an illusion rune from top, and he does have his Vlads, and he got an early level in Howl as well, so that might mean he might be trying to push this mid tower or another tower soon with his team.
Yeah. Well, if they're able to take this Tier 1 tower on bottom as well as the Tier 1 tower in mid, they should be able to take Roshan very quickly. Well, Nier going to be spotted up by Kinetic Field. Nice fissure will block him in. They don't have a lot of follow-up, however. Here comes the jump in. They have a skewer. Nier is going to give up his life, but he has the ultimate. A lot of damage being stolen away from the Viper. Yet again, 140. He's going to turn back and throw out the Viper Strike to try to save this Witch Doctor with the slow onto Judo. It looks like he'll be able to make it out alive. Now they're starting to turn. He still has, like, no damage onto Viper. Pretty much just relying all the way in the Nether Toxin, but on the backlines, Chomi picks up kill on the Wraith King. They were able to clean him up a second time.
Yeah, but they did waste one RP and the Echo Slam as well, so that does mean Goomba might be able to take a fight in bottom lane in their favour at the moment, because those are some pretty large cooldown spells. which they definitely need for team fights as opposed to blowing on one person.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Exist was able to take the tier 1 tower in mid, so it looks like Roshan is going to be fairly quick on Goomba's list. Well, looks like OSG might try to defend against this, but without those big teamfight ultimates that they did spend that last fight, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to compete against that.
Yeah, and Osliki do have vision over the Roshan at the moment. They do have a ward in their half, so I don't think a fight could go in favor of Goomba. And well, I mean, they might be able to fight without those ultimates, but I don't think they are going to pull it. As you can see, Judo just checked for the Roshan, then see if Lycan had jumped in there, but instead he was farming Ancients.
Yeah, well, for now, Exist is going to go into the Roshan pit. I believe he has a medallion as well. It is on the courier, just delivered to himself. So with that -R, they should be able to take this Roshan, and, well, since OSG just checked it, I don't think they'll go back into this pit. They were fairly sneaky about the way they got into it, and they're just going to leave Exist solo with the Wraith King up on the high ground to give him that extra lifesteal, and eventually we'll just back off and let him solo it.
Yeah, I did just actually check the radius of that ward as well. The vision doesn't reach to the wall of the Roshan pit, and that is the way Lycan went in, so it does look like it's going to be a free Roshan in favor of Goomba.
Up in top lane, Invoker is going to be fissured here, and they should have plenty of damage to get this kill on Chill. So going to give his life for that Roshan in the end. He's going to throw the Ghost Walk. Do they have detection? Chill, he's surviving for now, and now he might be able to turn on Magnus. They're looking for the Shockwave kill on him. He's not going to be able to get it. He'll be able to kill the Magnus instead, so a 1-for-1 trade in this top lane, making the best out of a bad situation. The Invoker played very well there.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty... He knew he was going to die for that, so I do think he was just trying to shut down Magnus's farm and prevent him from getting extra EXP for that Empower.
Yeah, definitely. Tier 2 tower in mid is going to take a little bit of pressure from Goomba here. Bignum has picked up his Soul Ring, going to drop a fissure that lands nicely on 2, but there's no follow-up for that. In fact, Bignum taking a lot of damage from these Lycan Wolves with that extra Howl. Bignum's already dropped to about half and really can't compete in this next team fight.
No, Exist does have an Aegis as well, and he does have his ultimate, so if they do decide to dive there...
Glimpse back on the Lycan's rope. They're looking for the stuns. He drops his ultimate. He will be mech'd up by the Razor, however. Here comes the RP. Going to land on 3. Skewer back under the tower. They drop the Aegis immediately. Echo Slam onto 2 as well. Nier going to fall. And now Bignum is going to die to the Viper, and, well, with Exist coming back, I think they just need to retreat here. However, they're dropping Judo low, and it looks like they're going to get this kill on the Razor. Static Storm dropped a little late from Obi-Wan Banan. And now Exist, he's going to die to the Shockwave. They get the Forge Spirits as well, so in the end, a 2-for-3 trade in the favor of OSG.
Yeah, that fight definitely could have gone a lot better if Disruptor was there to use his ultimate in favor of Echo Slam and RP. But I do think, considering they did get the kills and they did have an Aegis, they are pretty happy with that fight, apart from their T2 is going to drop in mid.
Yeah, definitely nothing they can do about that here. Let's see if they'll be able to catch him out. Blink Dagger was cancelled by the Viper, and Blink away from the Magnus. No way to capitalize on that. So in the end, Goomba took what they came for. They're going to glimpse back Invoker into a fissure from the Earthshaker, but in the end, Chill just going to be able to walk that one off.
Yeah, they're just throwing out a bit of harass to each other now. I don't think they're actually planning to go fight anyone. They don't have any ultimates for either team, apart from Witch Doctor, who is nowhere near them.
Yeah, definitely. So Goomba have been able to take those towers, and, well, those ultimates on the side of OSG are going to be on cooldown for a little bit longer. Tier 1 tower on top is fairly easy for them to take, and I think Goomba might just be able to pick that one up without any big fuss from OSG. I don't see them really blowing very many ultimates to take that one, but for now, the creep waves aren't really in Goomba's favor, and they will just back off and farm those up for a little bit.
Yeah, and Fire on Witch Doctor did just deward their whole bottom lane for... He took down all of OSG's wards, so they might be expecting to go push bottom lane now as well.
Yeah, also a decent choice for them. Yeah, that Aegis really didn't do much, except for getting the tier 2 tower in the mid for Goomba. I'd say that that last fight was a fairly even exchange, but still. Goomba are seizing a decent amount of map control away from OSG, but already we can see that OSG's team fighting potential is absolutely huge if they do get that good initiation, and the Ember Spirit really hasn't come online just yet. And Empower on Magnus is level 3, but once he has the level 4 and maybe one more item on Infizer, we'll have to see how he's going to be able to put that damage to use, and I think Goomba might be in a little bit of trouble here if they're not able to get these last 3 towers down very quickly.
It did look like Razor wanted to initiate, and OSG wanted to initiate a fight bottom lane then, but he was spotted out by the Wraith King, Razor was lurking around in the forest, so that did de-initiate the fight, and you could see Earthshaker positioning as well, so it just looks like they're going to disengage and carry on farming.
Yeah, Nier is saving up for that Blink Dagger, so we're about to have a Blink on this support Wraith King, which will be nice. In these next couple of team fights, we'll be able to get him into the middle of the fray and drop that AoE slow on everybody when he does die, if he does blink aggressively. Although it is still only a level 1 reincarnate on Nier, so it's going to be on cooldown for quite some time, but still, they should be able to take some kills with this Blink Dagger pickup. Necronomicon level 1 picked up by Lycan. No big surprises there following a fairly standard item progression, but on top lane, they're looking for this kill on Inkvisitor. They think he has a Remnant out and immediately pops it. Back to the tier 1 tower with him.
Yeah, that Necronomicon on Lycan might mean Invoker might be planning to build one as well, just for that extra push. It does counter the AoE for Earthshaker and Disruptor. Well, I mean, Earthshaker will get more bouncers, but if he does get the kill with his AoE ultimate, then he is going to take the 500 damage.
OSG are committing fairly hard to this top lane, while bottom's being split pushed by the rest of Goomba. And it looks like the tier 2 tower, they will TP back the Razor at the very least. Top lane, they throw out a fissure, but to no avail. Lycan Wolves just going to chip away this tower with the Necronomicon, and just look at Bignum, that's only a level 1 Necronomicon, I believe, on the Lycanthrope, and it already does about half of his damage.
Well, Bignum actually did just pop Echo Slam in desperation to clear that creep wave, so they can't really fight at the moment unless they fight with just a fissure.
At this point, Bignum doesn't have the Blink Dagger, so Echo Slam really isn't the biggest deal, and just expecting that he won't have that Blink up for another 2 minutes, which I'm inclined to believe in, or agree with, excuse me, as Earthshaker really doesn't farm very fast at all.
Yeah, I agree, but you have to remember they do have a kinetic field in their favor as well as Glimpse, which will help with the initiate for Echo Slam.
Yeah, definitely. Well, for now, both teams just going to sit back and just waiting for a couple more items. It looks like Goomba might be waiting out for this next Aegis, and at least for now, just going to continue on split pushing and farming their own jungle.
Yeah, Viper did just pick up an Aghanims as well, so his artillery mode is activated. Their teamfight's going to be pretty strong now with that Viper strike at level 2 with an Aghanims.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll wait until Lycan gets his Necronomicon 2 delivered to him before they try to push down any more towers, but tier 1 tower and top, OSG are hanging around there. We do have a Battle Fury picked up by the Ember Spirit as well. As far as item pickups are concerned, Inkvisitor drops his Remnant. No way that they can really get that kill on Inkvisitor.
Yeah, and Goomba are swinging bottom lane now that they've got all their OSG's wards dewarded, and it does look like Wraith King did blink in then and got a stun on the Magnus, but nothing's going to happen. He's just going to disengage straight away and take that tower.
Yeah, pretty much not a lot that OSG can do here. They need the mag to come in with the blink, but they'll just end up giving away that tier 2 tower for pretty much free. Invoker didn't have the Invoke ready. I was expecting a Sunstrike to be attempted at least on the Ember Spirit, would have done enough damage, definitely. But either way, won't have the Invoke ready. And he will be building towards that Necronomicon, I believe, with that next Staff of Wizardry picked up.
Yeah, I mean, Goomba are doing a really good job pushing, but I believe they might, with this aggressive behavior, take a tower and then just get the perfect initiate from OSG to turn that fight around. So they do need to really be careful of their team fight now.
Yeah, well, it is about 20 minutes in, so we'll go ahead and look at the graphs, the gold. It's about 4k in favor of Goomba, but I don't know, still not a huge lead for them. And once these towers start falling on their side, OSG are going to be able to get an advantage there. And, well, as far as experience is concerned, almost 3k in the advantage of OSG. So their team fighting still heavily favored in these next couple of engagements. It's starting to look scary for Goomba.
Yeah, and Ember Spirit has been AFK farming, so he went from bottom of the last hits, and he's now one of the highest net worths, I believe. So he has made a bit of a comeback, does make OSG stronger, despite the fact that their bottom lane was shut down so hard.
Yeah, definitely. Also, another big item pickup, Bignum, has managed to find his Blink Dagger at the prescribed time of 22 minutes. And now the Echo Slam is off cooldown after the usage up top for counter pushing. So, looks like they're ready to take a big engagement, and this could be huge for them. Bignum waiting inside the trees. Do they catch vision of him? I don't think so. There's a lot of summons there. Eventually, they will find him. He tries to blink and gets the Echo Slam. Does a decent amount of damage towards the Viper, and now the Magnus drops the RP, but fires using his ultimate as well. He only skewers one back in. It is the Lycanthrope. Exist is just right-clicking away. Judo's going to fall to a couple more stuns, and it looks like Chomi's going to give up his life as well. Necronomicon units chasing him down. There's a glimpse back. Will he be able to get this kill on the Magnus? It looks like he saved his life. No, blink forward by the Wraith King, and one more stun to secure that kill. And now tier 2 tower also should fall.
Yeah, OSG did have a TP on the Ember Spirit as well, so I'm not quite sure why he decided not to TP in then. He traded the bottom tower. He might be regretting that decision now that the team fight went so badly. I think they were a little too reliant on their team fight ultimates then.
Yeah, Earthshaker, I thought his positioning was good enough, but Viper managed to catch eyes and drop a Viper Strike on him. Buyback by the Magnus. He doesn't have RP here, and with Hell damage, the tower's just falling too quickly. Well, they're going to drop a Fissure on 3 heroes, and now the Ember Spirit damage is coming out Mechanism through it by the Viper, and it looks like they're going to back off. No, they're committing to this barracks in the top lane. I'm not sure about this decision. They're going to lose the Viper to one more Sleight of Fist, but it looks like they'll also take the melee barracks. So in the end, they'll get that map objective. Will Exist be able to clean this one up? He really needs that. They committed hard, and they will get this kill. Near. He's focusing on the barracks. Will he be able to get the last hit? Near falling low. Eventually, they will clean up that building at a cost of 3 heroes, however, and now Fire trying his best to TP away. Glimpse, no way that Witch Doctor's surviving.
Yeah, they definitely overcommitted then. They probably should have just left as soon as they got the tower. Invoker did pick up a Necronomicon now, so just as we suggested, they are going for that heavy push lineup as opposed to a team fight, but they definitely overcommitted on that barracks then. They should have just left the tower as soon as they saw Magnus buying back and the Ember Spirit TPing in.
That said, melee barracks down, and well, I think it's still worth it for Goomba. I don't think that OSG are really going to be able to push out these lanes fast enough to get any other map objectives because of that heavy push by Goomba. If they didn't get the barracks, I'm definitely agreeing with you that it was a super big overcommitment. But still, now they're going to have at least one lane that's always going to be in their favor, at least as per default.
Yeah, and Goomba do have their ultimates back up now, and it does look like they dusted to try and take this Roshan if they're going to check. But Goomba are coming around now, so there might be a little fight here with OSG. OSG do have all their ultimates, as do Goomba, but they definitely have a stronger team fight compared to Goomba. But I think they're just going to contest for this Roshan now. Both wards are up for both teams, so we'll just have to see what happens.
Yep, Invisibility Rune picked up by Magnus. We could see a huge initiation, but also we have a Witch Doctor Blink. And with his positioning on the high ground, he should be able to get a very nice channeled Death Ward. Although it is only level 1, and it looks like OSG are going to rotate towards the pit. They have the Ember Spirit, he's coming in, and power is going to wear off. He's going to bump into Near. He's stunned up eventually after he throws out, but there's the Echo Slime. Going to land mostly on Chill the Static Storm to follow up, going to land on 3. Now the Skewer back into the Static Storm. Chomi, he does have the ultimate to doesn't have the ultimate to throw up, but the Witch Doctor he's channeling, he's doing a decent amount of damage, but they're not able to get any kills. And now they're going to lose 3 heroes, and it looks like it's going to be more Ink Visitor. Is going to be the one that dies here. Viper will tick down eventually. 4-for-2 trade, all said and done, but more importantly, Roshan is going to be taken by OSG, but is it buybacks coming out galore from Goomba? They're going to have 4 buybacks here. Now Fire up in the high ground. He's going to fall. Goomba Near. He's trying to come into the pit. He's going to step Judo Sunstrike, going to land onto Judo. Glimpse back on the Wraith King. They're trying to chase him down. 4 staff coming out from Chill. Chill the Ice Wall, going to chill down Judo enough to probably get this kill. Another blink from Wraith King, and with only the Disruptor as well as the Magnus, no ultimates available for either of them. They can't really contest this Roshan, and Lycan picks up the Aegis. A very costly Aegis for Goomba, but just realizing that if they give that away, they're going to be at a huge disadvantage. Not sure if they really need to buy back everybody, but still, I don't know. Not sure what you think about that fight.
Yeah, now that everyone's back up, they did take the Roshan, so I do think buyback was kind of what they needed to do, especially now that the Razor is dead and they don't have any teamfight ultimates on OSG. Does mean they're probably going to take a bottom barracks here, maybe, unless Razor... Does Razor have a buyback?
Razor does have a buyback, but I don't think we'll spend it for this tier 3 tower.
I mean, they do have a double Necro book, and they are both Necro 3s, so if they wanted, they could commit to this tower, especially whilst there's no team fights. They would have to dive, and it would be a pretty risky fight in their favor, but I do think they could pull it off.
We'll have to see what they're going to do. Sheep's Guard picked up by the Magnus. He's already bought back, I believe, so that should be on cooldown, and indeed it is, for another 2 minutes or so. So we'll just go ahead and clean up that item, and for now, Goomba are going to back off. With the ultimates coming off of cooldown, RP in particular, it's just too scary to push up high ground against that, especially with the Ember Spirit Sleight of Fist ban. With that Crystallis, Battle Fury, as well as the Empower on him, he's doing so much cleave damage, and now Daedalus has been finished.
Yeah, and there is an illusion here, and it does look like that Goomba are going to see it, and with that, they could probably... They might commit to a fight now that top lane's pushing out a bit. Whilst top lane's pushing out by default because the melee rack's taken, they're probably going to commit to bottom lane.
Yeah, Viper... Let's see. Necronomicon was popped by the Invoker, so they're not going to have that available for this next teamfight if they do commit to this barracks. Not sure why it was popped, to be honest. Wasn't really watching when he did it, but they are on the ground now. so won't have that for the high ground push. We do have a point booster picked up by the Disruptor, sending that to himself. I don't believe he has the Ags finish. And indeed, it is just a casual point booster as of now, but the high ground defense should be there from OSG. I don't think Goomba can really push into this, even with an Aegis on the Lycanthrope.
Yeah, well, their illusion was popped probably a little prematurely then, and the Fissure from Earthshaker is doing a really good job of keeping the Goomba team out of their base. Ember Spirit was split pushing top, but I think he TP'd back too early. He could have probably taken the top T2 then.
Yeah, and for now, Goomba are just going to back off. Fire TPs in the middle lane to get a little push going there. They leave the rest of the heroes in the enemy jungle to secure a little bit of farm as well, but I don't know, fairly tense for both sides as Goomba are trying to clean out this game before this Ember Spirit gets another item.
Yeah, it does look like Goomba have dispersed a little bit, and they are going to take some farm for themselves. Lycan is taking the Ancients, and he's building his BKB now. So after he might just AFK farm for his BKB and then decide to commit to a fight afterwards.
Yeah, but only that Ogre Club finished just yet for that BKB. He might decide to sell Medallion or, might drop the bottle instead. But either way.
Yeah, and Aegis is reclaimed in 3 minutes, so they do have to commit to a fight pretty soon if they decide that they do want to push.
I'm not really sure if they are going to decide to push with this Aegis. I don't know, like an Aegis just feels so lackluster. I don't know, if he uses his ultimate before, then he won't have it when he comes back from the reincarnation, or rather Aegis respawn. And I don't know, if they kill him once, they should be able to clean him up again if the rest of his team is dead. And if he saves his ultimate, he just doesn't do enough damage in the team fight.
Yeah, that's true. They might just let the Aegis expire and then go take Roshan again. If they do take Roshan again, it is going to be a cheese, and that might be handed over to Viper or Invoker, which would give them even better of a fight.
But if they wait for that Ember Spirit, it's going to have the makings of his next item, and he might just go full out damage and build a second Daedalus here. With the amount of cleave that he has, I believe it's 85%. That could be huge. Like an RP on 3 heroes with one Sleight of Fist pretty much just instantly kills those 3 heroes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised this fight has gone so in favor of Goomba. Well, I mean, this game has gone so in favor of Goomba in terms of pushing, because OSG can rotate and they do have all those teamfight ailments, which they haven't really used in conjunction with each other properly yet, apart from that one fight top. I do think if Goomba get over aggressive pushing, then they might get just wiped.
Yeah, definitely. Goomba have been doing a good job of splitting the map and keeping the pressure away from those 5-on-5 engagements, but still, it's getting very tense, and I'm not sure they're going to ever be able to take high ground up against this team from OSG. Besides the racks that they already dove for up top, rather. I don't think they'll be able to completely break the base.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, it does look like there might be a fight bottom soon. All teams are at bottom lane. Razor is just passively farming the forest, and the Viper is sat over here with the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, Ember Spirit finds the Razor, or Viper, excuse me, out inside the woods with a Sleight of Fist, and they will just back off. I believe Inkvisitor has a Remnant, and it is sitting next to the racks in the bottom lane. So if things do get hairy, he should be able to jump back. They really don't have a huge amount of lockdown to keep this Ember Spirit in place for long enough. No way to silence him, to stop him from using that Remnant, and really only the Wraith King stun's the reliable way of keeping him in place.
Yeah, Wraith King is farming for what looks like an AC now, which will do a really good job countering the Earth Spirit's damage. I don't think it'll be enough to counter all of it, especially now that the Empower's getting put out on him and he has his Daedalus and his Battle Fury ready. But he did push out top lane, which is causing Ember Spirit to TP top as a result.
Yeah, and well, it's fairly easy for him to clean up these creeps with the amount of damage that he dishes out against even these mega creeps. It's fairly easy, and Inkvisitor will just hang around here, but a little bit less gold for him in this lane, at least, with those mega creeps reduced bounty.
Yeah, and Lycan did just pick up a DD then as well, and they are overextending onto their map, their side of the map now. So we might see a fight coming out soon.
No big group ups, and it does look like Goomba are just going to let this Aegis expire. I don't know, it looks like they are just going to wait out for the next one. They have this double damage on Lycan, maybe they'll be able to make something happen, but I don't know. Ember Spirit just going to be able to Remnant away. There's no way that they can really catch out Inkvisitor.
Yeah, I think with better rotation, Goomba could have probably caught off the Ember Spirit or some of the people farming in OSG's forest. They might have been able to pick someone off and force a fight with that Aegis. it was probably best that they didn't overextend, like you said, into their base pushing. Otherwise, that would have gone to waste, and Lycan would have had a hard time, like you said, with Zolma and using the Aegis and putting it to good use.
Yeah, well, not sure what the next item pickups are going to be for the side of Goomba. I'd expect Chill to probably get a Scythe device to help them lock down this Ember Sphere, make sure that he doesn't get that ultimate off, and he will pick up the ultimate orb. I'm expecting that's a Scythe.
Yeah, Fire is the Witch Doctor is building his Aghanims as well, and he has been getting some pretty well placed death wards at the moment. So if he gets his Aghanims full, which he's halfway to, then they are definitely going to be able to push back those team fights with a good deafening blast as well.
Yeah, still not not a lot of other big AoE ultimates that they can drop onto OSG, and I don't think they'll really be clumped out. With the Blink Daggers having the Earthshaker and the Magnus, they'll be sitting on the back lines of the fight. Similarly with the Ember Spirit just spamming out his Sleight of Fist, and the Disruptor is also just going to be sitting on the back lines. Drop a Static Storm and glimpse people when needed. Up in top, OSG are baiting out this Ember Spirit with this smoke, but I think that Goomba know this is going on. At the very least, they're not going to try to contest this farm. They are going to ping him out, however. Oh, but back to base with the Ember Spirit.
I definitely think they could have probably pushed that out a little bit and got a good bait with the Ember Spirit with that smoke, and probably took maybe the tier 2 if they'd got a good team fight off, because Goomba don't have their Aegis anymore.
As far as this tournament is concerned, this is a semi-final match and it is a best of 3. This game is going to set the tone for the rest of the series, and both teams are just going to play it safe for now. I don't know. I'm pretty scared for Goomba, even though they have one barracks down.
Yeah, well, they are doing a pretty good job getting their farm back up. I mean, as soon as they get the major items like AC on Wraith King, the Aghanims on Witch Doctor, etc., they are going to have much better of a team fight, and they might be able to push a little bit harder and commit to a fight properly, as opposed to disengaging like we've seen them do at the moment.
Yeah, well, back to farming for Ink Visitor, pushing out. He has 4,000 gold, but I expect that he's saving for buyback before he really goes for his next item. Let's see, he does have buyback now, and so does Magnus after spending it earlier on. It has come off of cooldown yet again. BKB finished by Goomba. I'm not sure if they're, or by Exist, excuse me, on the side of Goomba. So not sure if there's any other big item pickups to speak about. Looks like Viper's going to be building a Scythe of his own. Almost has it as well, has the ultimate orb in his inventory. Now, I like this item choice coming out from the Viper. They just need some way to keep this Ember Spirit, or to pick off the Ember Spirit, to make sure that he's not spamming out that Sleight of Fist, because he just does an obscene amount of damage in his teamfights if left unchecked.
Yeah, it's probably worth noting Goomba don't have any wards on their map at the moment, and they don't have anyone with free ward slots, so they might not be planning to buy anything, which does mean OSG might be able to catch someone off guard if they're pushing bottom lane so hard like they are at the moment.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure when the last time we had a kill was. It's been quite some time before we have aggressive movements coming out from both teams. Judo is working towards that Aghanim Scepter. He's almost going to have it, but whether he's going to finish it or save for buyback is another story. I think he'll wait until this next fight or until he has buyback ready.
Yeah, Viper does look like he might be building the Manta Star, and he probably has enough money for it now, actually, so I'm kind of curious as to what's holding him back. He might just be saving for buyback as well.
I actually think that's a Scythe device on Viper. At least that's what I'd prefer. I'm not sure if there's really anything you're mantaing out of by OSG, and I don't think the Manta Illusions really are going to accomplish that much, and I think just getting the Scythe is the better choice. But he still could go for Manta, gives you some good stats, and all around is just a decent item.
Yeah, if he does go Manta, it is going to make the Echo Slam do more damage, so like you said, it probably will just be a Scythe device, which would mean they could disable some of those large ultimates.
Yeah, he does have money for the Scythe device, but still, buyback is something to consider. He will go ahead and buy the Scythe. So that was the correct prediction. Well, speaking of Scythe device, we're almost going to have it on Invoker as well. So once they have those two Scythes, they should be able to pick off this Ember Spirit. If they get a good jump, I'd expect them to smoke up and look for a pickoff on Ink Visitor as he's pushing out these lanes.
Yeah, not only that, they are taking the Roshan now, and OSG have no vision on them and have no idea that they're taking it, which does mean they are going to get Aegis and Cheese this time, now that they have some pretty big items up for grabs, and the Aegis and Cheese, they're probably going to take a fight with this now.
I think they have to. I think this is do or die for Goomba. If they let this go any more longer, this Ember Spirit's going to finish up his next Daedalus and maybe even like another Battle Fury or something ridiculous like that. But now they do have the Roshan, and now Let's see, no smokes coming out just yet. Ember Spirit throws out one more Sleight of Fist. Where's his Remnant? It is back in middle lane, and I think he should be able to get away. Blink forward by Nier. Not going to be able to stun him up, however. And Ember Spirit should be just fine. Very aggressive movement coming out from him. He's going to get the chains onto two heroes. And in the end, we'll just Remnant back to his Spirit.
Yeah, OSG are taking top tower, pushing the top lane pretty hard right now. There's only 3 of them up there, so they really need to be careful with what they're doing right now. They are all carrying TPs. They shouldn't have to engage a fight there, otherwise they will die. They might have to protect their middle right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Goomba are still just kind of sitting back, pushing out these lanes as best they can. It's a stalemate and has been for quite some time. It is a Lincoln Sphere for the Ember Spirit. Let's see. Against the Scythe of Ice, I think this is a great pickup for the Ember Spirit. I think he might have seen those. And even if it's not, the Wraith King Sun's really all they have to lock him down. And just absorbing one of those key lockdown spells on this Ember Spirit would give him the time to pop another Sleight of Fist, kill a hero, or pop the Remnant and get back to safety.
Yeah, Ember Spirit has the highest net worths still as well, and it's only getting higher. So I do think, like you said earlier, Goomba really needs to take a fight right now. Otherwise, that Ember Spirit is just going to get too many items. Like he's building, like he just built that Lincoln's.
Yeah, as far as the gold advantage, it is still about the same and has stagnated for quite some time. Nothing too interesting there. We've just kind of been waiting, and now Ember Spirit going to clean himself up a stack as well. He should have buyback for this next engagement, and he already has it.
Yeah, I mean, Goomba might just be waiting for that AC on their Wraith King. He has been farming pretty hard recently, but it does look like there might be a small conflict in mid, but Lycan's just going to disengage. OSG have no team behind that Echo Slam initiate, so it's not like much will happen from OSG. So I think Goomba are just going to farm up that AC for that Wraith King to get that fight a little better.
Lycan Wolves trying their best to backdoor this tower, but backdoor regen too strong in the end. Big Nem comes in, cleans those up with a Totem Slam. They do have the AC finish on the Wraith King. I believe he at least has the money to finish it. Not sure what's holding him back. He has the recipe as well as the chainmail on the courier and the plate mail in his inventory. Yeah, he will just pick it up, and it looks like, I don't know, this might be the time to push finally for Goomba.
Yeah, it does look like they were getting some of those major items before doing anything. They are as a team now, so they might start rotating together. And it does look like that Invoker's going to push out bottom lane, and he might swing mid to help out as well.
Yeah, Necronomicons are ready, Scythe of Ice are ready, as well as that Assault Cuirass on the Wraith King. It looks like it's just go mid or go home right now for Goomba. They're going to start grouping up. The rest of the heroes are kind of lagging behind. Nier with that Blink Dagger really doesn't have to be on the front lines just yet, and can just wait around and see if they can find an initiate. We do have Fire rotating very aggressively through the enemy jungle, looking maybe for some word vision, just expecting that OSG aren't going to really be hanging around here, and they've been bottled up in their base for quite some time.
Yeah, just initiate on the Earthshaker at bottom lane just a second ago. He did force staff in and pop his Forged Spirits in his Necronomicon, but he did disengage as soon as he saw that their team was behind him. So it looks like they're probably going to rotate bottom and try and push for one last time for this bottom Rex.
Well, yeah, we have a Sunstrike coming out. Not sure where that was actually thrown, but it doesn't look like it hit anybody. Whether that actually scouted anything useful out or not is another story, and well, for now, Goomba smoked up, waiting for a clean initiate onto OSG, but I don't know, just a stalemate as far as everything is concerned. Obi-Wan Banan does have a TP and should be able to get into this fight, and Inkvis are just going to continue spamming out. They're looking for the side, not going to find it. Gets the ultimate off in time, and Emperor Spirit will just be back in the base awaiting this push coming from Goomba.
Yeah, they're probably going to commit to a fight sometime soon now, and it does look like they're probably going to rotate top for that barracks with that little signal from the Invoker then. I'm kind of scared as to how this fight's going to go in favor of Goomba. They are pushing really hard, but OSG do have a very strong team fight, especially with that Empower Ember Spirit now that he has lots of items.
Yeah, and there's nothing they can really do about Ink Visitor's counter push. He just drops one Sleight of Fist, and that's the creep wave dead. And I'm not sure really what Goomba need to wait for, or how they're going to really be able to jump into this Ember Spirit and catch him out. They don't have a Blink Dagger on these Scythe of Ice holders to really get in close. They have the Force Staff on the Invoker, which is nice, but I don't know, they need that instant initiation, as you saw last time where they tried for the Scythe on the Ember Spirit. The Force Staff animation gave him time to pop the Remnant and get back into the base very quickly. And now the Aegis is going to expire. Not sure who they gave Cheese to. Cheese is on the Lycanthrope.
Yeah, yeah. The cheese is on the Lycanthrope. It does look like they're going to push aggressively bottom lane, sorry, but Razor is top. There is a little bit of a scatter now. They're probably going to... It does look like they want to split push this a little bit.
Well, they tried just fighting down straight, and they will end up getting the top range barracks, but sooner or later that would fall anyway, so not the biggest deal in the end. Well, Earthshaker is going to heal back up, and that's pretty much all that Goomba have to show for this Aegis.
Yeah, Viper's... I mean, the Aegis is getting reclaimed in 20 seconds, and I don't see this fight going in favor of Goomba at all now. And it does look like the Viper might get picked off if Ember Spirit gets a good sleight of fist, but he did not get his
Full
searing
step
chains
forward, Fissure, they catch out. HWA, now the Glimpse, gets him back into the rest of the team. It looks like they're going to lose this. Viper Aegis is going to be reclaimed. They need to wait for the kill, and they are cancel casting that. And eventually they will get that time... kill, excuse me, well timed by OSG. Just watching that Earthshaker cancel cast that auto attack was quite humorous, but in the end, OSG knowing exactly when that Aegis would expire and getting a good pick off on the retreat from Goomba.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Turtling's concerned for OSG, that was a really good fight for them, picking off that Viper. Viper does have a Scythe of the Vice, and he is most of the damage coming from Goomba, so they definitely can't push now. It looks like they're just going to try and push out a little bit themselves and get a bit aggressive, getting some of those wards down near their Ancients and pushing in the bottom lane with the Earthshaker. They're probably going to try something now, or maybe try and reclaim some of that map control.
Yeah, definitely Ember Spirit has the second Daedalus, and if his damage wasn't scary already, I don't know, he's going to be critting about half of the time, and it's really scary, especially with all of these summons. Like, you've mentioned it before throughout this game, and we really haven't seen it in action just yet because Goomba haven't been taking those 5-5 engagements. But if they do catch out all of these Necronomicon units, blink forward by Bignum. Bignum's being cold snapped to death, and now 4-step away goes Scepter. He throws out the Fissure, only catches out the Wraith King. I think he's going to be just fine. Indeed, he will. Sunstrike attempt from the Invoker, not going to be there. Chomi looks for the Skewer. Is he going to drop anything? They will glimpse back the Invoker with that vision. They drop the ultimate Echo Slam as well, but everybody's falling so low to this Witch Doctor, challenged from the back lines. Judo falling quickly. Chomi, it's bouncing through with the Aghanim Scepter. They're going to be able to get 3, and now Judo looking to fall next near. He's going to take a lot of damage from that crit, and eventually will back off, but that's a gem on the deck as well.
Yeah, all I have to say about that fight was that was an amazing ultimate and placement by Witch Doctor. Like we saw earlier with Roshan, he did blink on the cliff and pop his ultimate down, but then he didn't have Agnums, and his Agnums definitely paid off just then getting a triple kill.
Yeah, I don't know, OSG thought that they'd gotten the jump onto this Invoker. They eventually did clean him up, but yeah, I don't know, beautiful positioning from the Witch Doctor, and they just spent a buyback as well. Wait, did they? Yeah, they spent the buyback on the Disruptor, it seems. Or Obi-Wan Banan not going to have that Aghanim Scepter for quite some time, and I don't think he'll finish it before this game is over. But at this point, it really doesn't matter. They haven't been able to find the perfect initiate that they've really wanted. They want to find 5 of these heroes in their huge combo coming out from OSG, but they just haven't been able to find the right opening. And well, Goomba are going to push in this bottom lane, but with Magnus coming back in 30 seconds, as the RP is coming up from cooldown as well at that same timing, they should not be able to capitalize on that or really be able to push high grounds. Still OSG are defending. All it takes is one slip up from Goomba and this game could completely turn on its head. Inquisitor continuing to push out the top lane, has another 5k gold on top of his already ridiculous items, and I don't think he needs it, but if it ever gets to that point, Ember Spirit could finish up a Divine Rapier as well. There's no evasion coming out from Goomba, so no need for an MKB just yet. But either way, Inquisitor is getting dangerously close to being 6-slotted.
Yeah, Lycan did actually just pick up these TP boots then as well, so it does look like they are committing to pushing pretty hard now. It does look like they're going to take bottom tower soon, especially with no Echo Slam. But Echo Slam is up in 8 seconds, so it does look like they're going to catch the Invoker off.
Yep, Chill just gets blown up. They're going to blink forward, RP onto 2 with the Static Storm on top of it. They're looking for this Witch Doctor ultimate. It's doing a lot of damage yet again. Chomi and Judo falling low, but a blink forward by Bignum. They're going to be able to clean him up, and now the Ember Spirit's cleaning Alice. Viper buys back, and I think he's coming back to this fight, but very slowly. They're going to be able to get near as well. That's a gem on the deck. Triple kill for Inquisitor. They lost 2, but they got 4 kills, and now a stun onto Exist. Echo Slam committed to this as well. Ember Spirit just doing so much damage. He pops the cheese, tries to focus down Bignum. With that Ghost Scepter, it really doesn't matter. He's trying to get the this kill on Obi-Wan Banan, but Exist, will he be able to get this? He should be able to get this kill on the Disruptor, but at the cost of his own life, all Inquisitor needs is one more Sleight of Fist, and he should be able to get it. He's just going to throw the auto attack. Fissure from Earthshaker finishes the job, and that was a full team wipe, as well as a buyback from the Viper, and OSG, they lost 3, but still a convincing teamfight win for them.
Yeah, I do think OSG need to capitalize on the fact that they are winning these fights now with Ember Spirit, and they do probably need to push out these lanes a little bit. Goomba has still got some major map control in their favor, as well as wards. And as far as pushing and taking objectives is concerned, Goomba is still in favor of that. OSG do have a really strong team fight now, and I think now they realize it, they're probably going to start playing a lot more aggressively.
What is Ember Spirit's last slot? Well, Boots of Travel first, but what's his real 6th item?
He might be building a Skadi, possibly.
Oh, that could be nice. It gives him some extra tank, and also that AoE is so really nice for cutting around these heroes. Lycan's really not going to be affected by that all that much with the ultimate available so often with level 16, but yeah, I could get behind that choice.
Yeah, and it looks like Goomba are going to take their, what is this, 4th or 5th Roshan? Yeah, 4th Roshan now. They might decide to push with that, but I'm kind of scared for them because of OSG's team fight, and they did show some superior strength just then.
Yeah, I don't know. Fire has been carrying some weight, but now a refresher picked up by the Magnus. If he catches out 3 heroes in an RP, it's over. There's nothing they can really do, because that's a double RP as well. They're going to be locked down for more than 7 seconds, 7.5 if he combos it exactly, but you can count on 7 seconds where Ember Spirit's spamming 2 Sleight of Fist and maybe even a 3rd on top of that. That's dead heroes instantly.
Yeah, like you said, that double RP is definitely going to make OSG really strong, and I can see them winning this game from here, given the current situation.
Roshan abandoned so far by Goomba. OSG feeling strong enough to defend against this, and I'm inclined to agree with them. They just have such a huge teamfight advantage, and if they catch them inside a clumped spot inside the Roshan pit especially, Goomba is just going to die so quickly, and for now it's a stalemate around the Rosh pit.
Yeah, I don't think OSG want to let them get enough of Roshan, so they are probably going to contest this into a team fight if need be. They definitely really want this Roshan. If they do get Roshan and they get it on an Ember Spirit, for example, if he just swaps out his phase boots for that Aegis, they are probably going to take a few barracks with it and take a couple of fights in their favor.
Yeah, Razor Illusion sitting in the pit. So Goomba, not really going to be able to go for this, and neither is OSG, to be honest. So it seems like both teams just going to abandon hopes of going for this Roshan. The Lycan Wolves are in the pit, and maybe Goomba will be able to pull a fast one. But with Bignum as well as Chomi sitting up on the other side of the river, they just can't go into this pit. Ember Spirit also has a Remnant very well placed there, so he's free to push out these side lanes. Sunstrike, not going to be on the mark from the Invoker. Not sure exactly why that was thrown out, but in the end, OSG looks like they just are going to take this Roshan. Goomba aren't really in position to defend against this, and Divine Rapier picked up by Inquisitor. He can't hold the Aegis at this point. I don't think you saw your Lincoln Sphere. I don't know, maybe you drop it and give it to somebody else and have him put the, or give it to you after the Aegis is down. But still, Inquisitor is just going to do an absurd amount of damage, and just look how fast that Roshan falls. Judo looks like he'll be the one to pick up the Aegis. Cheese goes the way of Magnus. Yeah, they just haven't been able to kill Inquisitor here.
Yeah, I mean, that Aegis on OSG is really scary, especially considering they do have a Divine Rapier. It does look like they do want to win this game right now with this Aegis. If he does drop Divine Rapier and they get it on Lycan or Wraith King, for example, that it's going to be extremely scary, and Goomba might be able to push it back. But that's if Ember Spirit dies. So.
Yeah, definitely. They just haven't been able to catch him out. Inquisitor's positioning has been very on point, and while they're looking for this lycanthrope, if they catch him out, Glimpse coming out from the Disruptor. He's going to be back in. He breaks it with the BKB. Had he not done that, Exist would have been dead, surely. And now they have a double damage rune. They can give that to the Ember Spirit for even more absurd damage coming out from Inquisitor.
Yeah, him blowing BKB then definitely does mean OSG could probably take this top T2 now. He can't protect to any of the ultimates coming from OSG because it is on 50 seconds left on cooldown.
Yeah, what's going to stop this push coming out from OSG? They just feel so strong pushing up high ground as well. Like, as good as Goomba's push is going to be, they're trying to go for this trade possibly in mid lane, and I don't know, I don't think they can trade up against this Divine Rapier Ember Spirit. Now they throw up the Echo Slam onto Fire. They're going to get the Witch Doctor, and we saw how important his ultimate was in these teamfights. the last couple of times. Witch Doctor does have buyback, and I think he's going to be forced to spend at TP's back in the base. By Inquisitor, he'll clean up these Necronomicon units, and in the end, just a good pickup for OSG.
Dire's top tower's getting beat.
Yeah, I don't think they can team fight without a Witch Doctor. He has been carrying their team
Oh,
fights.
Lycan drops his ultimate Judo, trying to chase him down the Gate Vision with Kinetic Field, but it's not going to lock him in place. A nice Fissure Skewer back by the Magnus. RP on the Static Storm as well, and they're going to be able to clean up 3 kills very quickly. Wraith King coming back alive, but just look at how quickly he falls. 3 swipes of Inquisitor's mighty sword, and 4 heroes on the ground on the side of Goomba. This is go time for OSG, and well, there is buybacks galore on the side of Goomba. Viper, the only one who doesn't have it, in fact, in this entire game. Just a little bit gold short, and, well, he's the one who didn't die. Luckily for Goomba, they're going to have all 5 for this next team fight, but they're going to have to spend those buybacks.
Yeah, you know what? I think even if they do buy back, they're just going to feed more gold to OSG. I'm just calling it. I think this is a GG right now.
I think that's pretty safe to assume. Yeah, buyback from the Invoker. Lycanthrope hasn't spent his just yet. OSG might play this safe and back off, but I don't think they really need to. Reebok, excuse me, or Chomi. Whoa, what am I saying? Does not have the double RP, but does have the single RP for this next team fight. He did refresh after dropping it. Now Viper, he's throwing out a Viper Strike, but now he's going to be skewered back in the rest of the team, and he's just going to drop very quickly. Well, he's surviving for now. Now the fish are locking in place. They have Scythe up at Inquisitor, but it's just not going to matter. They get the kill on the Viper immediately. Viper does have buyback, and well, it looks like we're gearing up for this last fight coming out from Goomba.
Yeah, I don't see this going in favor of Goomba anymore, especially now Viper just wasted his buyback then. I mean, he shouldn't have got caught off in the first place. He was way overextended, and he probably should have taken Skewer into consideration.
Yeah, Judo with this Aegis. It's going to expire fairly quickly, so he's just going to drop the ultimate straight on the Viper. He's going to die yet again, and this is a dieback coming out from the Viper. They're trying to fight in this, but just look how quickly they fall. Invoker's going to die. Witch Doctor ultimate does go through, but that's only the Aegis on the Viper. Or Razor, excuse me. They do lose the Disruptor as well. Inquisitor falling fairly low. Well, chains dropped, and in the end, range barracks to down, and melee barracks soon to follow. Judo comes back. His ultimate is still on cooldown, but it looks like they're just going to back off after this. They do need to defend their top barracks as it is being pushed in, but
I think if OSG commit to this, they really could just win the game right now. Viper has no buyback. I think Invoker doesn't have buyback for 4 minutes, and the only person they actually lost was Disruptor, and he got his ultimate down, so his commitment to the fight was already done. Like that was his job. He got his ultimate down, did help the fight a lot, so if they committed to mid, they probably could have just won.
pretty much. Earthshaker going to upgrade that Ghost Scepter into an Ethereal Blade to save anybody who's gone on by the Lycanthrope would be my best guess. Their magic damage really isn't all that significant, but if he Ethereal Blades and then Echo Slam somebody while they're sitting in all of those units, he can completely obliterate somebody as well. I think that's mostly for defensive purposes as far as the E-Blade is concerned. But in the end, I don't know, OSG don't have to end it now. They can just play it safe. They can sit back. Ember Spirit is beyond farmed. At this point, he can buy Necronomicon as well as a refresher if he so chooses, with about 10,000 gold on his person. Maybe, I don't know, not sure what else you do.
I think he's just going to save that money in case he loses the Divine Rapier, and then he could just straight up pick another one back and still have buyback. He has 12k gold, so
Yeah,
he's
pretty
pretty much free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I don't know, his net worth is absolutely obscene. It's pretty much the net worth of the Razor as well as the Lycanthrope combined. A little bit less than that, but that pretty much gives the picture. But at this point, net worth for Ember Spirit does not matter for anything. He's completely six-slotted. The other items picked up, Razor has his Heart of Tarask, and oh, he's pretty much maxed as well. Blink backwards by Nier. Won't be caught out here, but the tier 2 tower is as good as dead. They're looking for initiation coming out from Chill. He's been spotted out, or rather being pinged out by his teammates, excuse me. But tier 2 tower, don't think Goomba can try to defend this. They might be able to catch a kill on the retreat, but Inquisitor's backing up Judo, and now they're going to get the chains off onto the Viper, and they just need to back off. Oh, Witch Doctor looking for an ultimate. He gets a decent cast, but it's blocked by the Lincoln Sphere, I believe. Inquisitor is bouncing back and forth, but now a lot of damage being stolen by fire, and now Judo's pretty much going to have a solo rapier of his own. Just look at that Viper melt. One crit from Inquisitors. All they need now, the RP. Spend solo on Exist. There's no way that he gets out of that Sunstrike drop by Chill, but to what avail? They get the Aegis, or Ultimate, excuse me, off of the Wraith King. They'll be able to clean him up yet again. And, I don't know, Goomba, they can call GG whenever, or they can just wait for the base now, blink for it. Jomi's looking for more. GG eventually called out by Nier.
Yeah, OSG played that really well. They did Turtle for a long time, just get that farm up on their Ember Spirit, and that did just give them a free win basically in the late game. They didn't Goomba didn't push when they could have, and I think that just gave the game in OSG's favor.
Yeah, pretty much this is a best of 3 in the semifinals, and as we saw this game, it was fairly close for the majority of it. But in the end, Goomba weren't able to seal the deal early with their heavy push-oriented lineup, and in the end, Ember Spirit just got way too fat. So thank you for watching. There's going to be more games coming soon, so stay tuned. We'll have Game 2 up shortly.